What's up, Playmakers? I'm your host, Lily Hennick, and now we have a little bit of a different format this week, but that's because your Kansas Jayhawks are ranked 19th in the nation and College Game Days in Lawrence. Now for this show, it is all KU football content. We have a high-shot injury update, the boys are back at the roundtable with a top 25 lookup for this weekend's matchups, and we have a history of KU football over the past 5 seasons. Now, with that, we also have a history of College Game Day and, PSA, they've never been in Lawrence. So stay tuned, Playmakers, because there's so much more to come. It's showtime. Here we go. The University of Kansas, a place notoriously known for its athletics. Now, when you think of KU athletics, you think of the men's basketball team, a mecca for basketball and most recently national champions. But it's not always all fun and games in the athletics department. We're also infamously known for how shockingly bad our football team has been over the past decade. In 2017, head coach David Beatty led the Jayhawks to a record of 1-11 during the season. And in 2018, they went 3-9. With new direction needed, Jeff Long was named Kansas's new athletic director in 2018. One of Long's first big decisions at Kansas was firing David Beatty as head coach and replacing him with Les Miles. Giving Jayhawks a hope at a new start, Miles started off his first season at KU and finished that first season with a record of 3-9. Not impressive, but it was his first attempt to fixing that program. Going into the 2020 season, Miles and the Jayhawks finished the season with an astonishing record of 0-9. Now, in March of 2021, head coach Les Miles received allegations which later led to his termination. Days later, the university announced that Jeff Long was stepping down as athletic director. With the football program left in shambles, what hope could students and fans have left for a program that was known as the worst college football team in the nation? One long month later, the university announced that they have hired Northwestern administrator and KU alum Travis Goff. Within weeks of being named athletic director, Goff and the Kansas Jayhawks announced that they have hired Buffalo head coach Lance Leipold. In 2021, Leipold led the Jayhawks to a 2-10 record at his very first season at KU. With close losses towards the end of the season, fans saw glimpses of hope and maintained faithful in Leipold's direction and guidance. With that strong end to the season, the offseason was the time he had to change the direction and dynamic of the program. At the home opener of the 2022 season, KU took down Tennessee Tech 56-10. But we saw that offseason work truly put to the test when we took on West Virginia in Morgantown, a football program that has not seen a 5-0 start to a season since 2009, a football program who has College Game Day in our town and at our school for the first time in history and is currently ranked 19th in the nation, a football program that has gained hope and loved much needed after a long drought. Kansas football has been restored, all thanks to a coach who saw an opportunity in a program and took that opportunity and ran with it. Some might call it the Leipold effect. Let's take a look.
Take notice and take this program seriously. I got a sense that they wanted direction, they wanted accountability, they wanted discipline, they wanted structure. We weren't using the scoreboard to measure improvement in where we were headed.
Jayhawk Nation, it's time to fly.
Interception! Daniels loading up. Deep shot, he hits it. Laughlin out of the backfield. Terry Laughlin, fifth string.
You gotta take the field, I think we said it in here, expecting to win, not hoping to win. But then we talk also, you gotta prepare, you gotta plan it out, then you gotta play, and then you gotta execute to win. You gotta finish the story, right? And we have 7 more games to go.
What a time to be a KU fan right now. First, KU men's basketball wins a national championship, and now KU football is having a remarkable season that we haven't seen anything like it since 2008. Plus, for the first time, college football game day is in Lawrence, Kansas. Is it a coincidence that after a championship basketball season, KU football is right behind them in success? I think not. The last time KU men's basketball won the national championship was in 2008, where they defeated Memphis. That following football season, KU football made their appearance and won the 2008 Orange Bowl game. But if we go all the way back to 1988, when Kansas basketball won their 4th national title, just a few short years later, the football team went to the 1992 bowl game. Are we seeing a pattern of success, or did we find the right medicine to cure a struggling KU football program is for men's basketball to win a title? Only time will tell if we will see a repeat of 2008. But basketball is coming off a championship season, and it's time for the return of KU football that Jayhawk Nation has been desperately hoping for. Jayhawks are 5-0 and just 1 win away of being considered bowl eligible. But with a tough schedule for the rest of the season ahead of them, who knows where this Kansas football team will go.
Hey, we got a short little entry in our notebook this week for a jam-packed special. I'm Namde Onyanike, and let's talk AP poll movement. All right, so first off, Georgia had a close one to the school I almost wasted my entire journalism career at in Missouri, edging them out 26-24, where Mizzou had the game in their hands for 3 quarters. Saban's Red Army would receive just 2 more votes in the poll, bumping the Dogs down to number 2. Georgia has Auburn this weekend at 2:30, while Alabama will face the best preseason team of all time in Texas A&M. But all jokes aside, remember, A&M handed Bama their 1 regular season loss last year, so watch out. Oklahoma State is solidifying themselves as the team to beat in the Big 12, jumping 2 spots to number 7. OSU was deemed top dogs last year until Baylor knocked them off the top spot in the Big 12 chip game and cost them a potential bid into the college football playoffs. As we've seen from Georgia's game against Mizzou and Bama's bout against Texas a few weeks ago, they aren't invincible. So if OSU plays as perfectly as they have till December, we may see them hopping into that top 4 spot. The Pokes will take on Mahomes' alma mater, Texas Tech, at the 2:30 slate. Some Pac-12 action sees Utah and Oregon claiming the 11 and 12 spot, both moving up 1 spot due to Kentucky falling hard after losing to Ole Miss. Both 4-1, the Utes got a testament with newcomer number 18 UCLA this week and Pac-12 top dog USC the following week, while Oregon will play Arizona, followed by, once again, number 18 UCLA. Speaking of such, let's give a hand to all the newcomers this week. Let's give them their flowers. Their stellar play warrants their recognition. Number 17 belongs to the TCU Horned Frogs, who gave us the legend Andy Dalton. They play the home team Jayhawks, who claimed number 19 after a gritty game against Iowa State this weekend. I'm hoping for a Max Duggan and Jalen Daniels shootout. Both these guys have a Big 12 star energy. All right, so did y'all know that Syracuse gave us Donovan McNabb, Marvin Harrison, and Jim Brown? Well, now they might be back with a 5-0 record and a number 22 ranking, and they look to give Clemson a run for their money in the ACC. But first, they got to answer to number 14 NC State this weekend. Finally, the poll rounds out with Mississippi State, Cincinnati, and LSU. All right, just like Baylor, Oklahoma, Pitt, and Florida State are doing to that number beside their name this week, I'm saying farewell and passing it to Kara, giving us a Daniel Highshaw injury update.
Daniel Highshaw has been nothing short of a key offensive player for the Jayhawks this season. In the game against the Cyclones, he scored 1 of the 2 touchdowns for the Jayhawks and had 8 carries for 28 yards. In the 4th quarter, Highshaw went down after a crowd of Iowa State players prevented him from gaining yardage. He was taken off the field in a cart and later transported to Lawrence Memorial Hospital by ambulance. As of right now, Coach Leipold has not released any specific information about Highshaw's injury, but he did confirm that he will be out for an extended period of time.
That position, and we can't let one right now, but you're getting to the halfway point, and the body isn't the same. So we got to make sure, and we've been utilizing a lot of people offensively, and we've got to find a way to keep doing that.
Although Highshaw has been a key factor, the other offensive players look to step up this upcoming game, such as Devin Neal and Savion Morrison, who have 453 combined rushing yards. Now we are going to head to the boys at the roundtable, who have a look at the top 25 games for this weekend.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's rendition of Roundtable with Reed, and as you can tell, the roundtable has expanded. We have our usual suspects on my left, Jackson Bezdek and Blake Sevenbergen, and we've got some newcomers to the roundtable. We wanted to kind of challenge these two, Sydney Clark and Anna Ambrose, and we're here to talk about not the Kansas and TCU game, but we're going to talk about the most entertaining game of the week and the biggest potential for an upset this week. Fellas, let's start with the most entertaining game of this week. What are you picking and why?
Yeah, absolutely. So Blake and I, we've got a little Pac-12 shootout. We got number 11 Utah at number 18 UCLA. Both teams in this game, the reason I like it, averaging 40 or more and giving up 20 or less. So something's got to give in this game. I personally think it's going to be a shootout. Blake, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a shootout. This game also features two of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Absolutely.
Cam Rising for Utah and Dorian Thompson-Robinson for UCLA have been lights out so far this year. They've thrown for over like 2,400 yards combined, 24 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. These guys are awesome. Zach Charbonnet for UCLA is a great running back. I don't think there's going to be any defense played in this
Probably
one.
not,
First team to 40 wins, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, that UCLA team certainly showed how good they are playing Washington at home and taking care of business. Now we'll move over to the ladies' side. Who do you guys have this week as your most entertaining game and why?
Our game we have is Texas and Oklahoma, the Red River Showdown in Dallas, Texas. Very excited for this one. It's one everyone looks forward to every year in Dallas. Quarterback Quinn Ewers is back this year game after a month injury with his non-throwing shoulder. So it should be interesting. If you remember the game last year, it actually ended within like 3 seconds.
It was pandemonium as always.
Yes, Kennedy Brooks with a touchdown, 3 seconds left to win the game, 55-43 or something. 40.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
That game had everything in it.
Yes, so very excited for this game. We can see a lot of offense, but also OU just got
demolished by TCU, like demolished. Which we're not talking about TCU versus KU, but
not talking about TCU.
We'll see how that game turns out. But I don't know who's going to win this Red River Showdown, but I think I'm going to have to go with Texas. I mean, we saw the Texas versus Alabama game in the beginning of the year, took them all the way to the fourth quarter, down to the last second. This Texas team is different than what we saw last year, and this OU team is continuing to kind of drop down in those rankings, drop down on the polls, in my opinion. And I think they're a little overhyped. So I think Texas is going to come out with a win on this one. So that's our game of the week.
And obviously that TCU Oklahoma was an upset, and obviously we know upsets happen all the time in college football. Fellas, there's a lot of like kind of trappy, upsetty games this week. What's got your attention?
Yeah, so I think Tennessee's on upset alert this week, going into the Death Valley, playing at LSU. LSU's only lost that really fluky Game 1 against Florida State. That game could have gone either way. They could totally be undefeated right now. Tennessee's only road game up to this point, that overtime win against Pittsburgh, and Pitt has not looked good the rest of the year, so I'm a little worried about Tennessee on the road.
Yeah, I am not at all bought in on this top 10 Tennessee hype. Is this team talented? Absolutely. Do I think they can compete to win the SEC? Absolutely not. Hendon Hooker is a stud and a Heisman candidate, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns through 4 games. Great football player. Have fun playing in Death Valley on Saturday. Yeah. Rockin' LSU. Give me the Tigers.
Ladies, real fast, your upset pick and why?
Okay, strongly and confidently, I'm going with Mississippi State and Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to pull the upset against the number 23 team in the country right now. Mississippi State's coming off of a win against Texas A&M, but Arkansas lost Texas A&M earlier in the year. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's coming down to a field goal. KJ Jefferson should be back for Arkansas this week. If not, you got Caden Fortin, who's right next in line. I don't know. Arkansas is coming off of 2 losses. That's my only thing that worries me a little bit. But I'm going to take Arkansas on a field goal for this one.
I don't think we can count out Arkansas and the strong offense that they have. So I personally am going to go with Arkansas over Mississippi State, even though I like both teams, SEC. I don't know. Arkansas for sure, though.
Yeah, Arkansas obviously hoping to get KJ Jefferson back. But, guys, this has been great. This has been fun, expanding the roundtable a little bit. But next week we'll be back. Maybe these will be the guests. Maybe these will be the guests. I don't know yet. But you'll see us back next Friday. Thanks for tuning in as always.
Here's Daniels, keeping it left side, touchdown, Kansas.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. That's Heisman quarterback Jalen Daniels running directly at me after cruising into the end zone to put the Jacks up 2 scores. As a photographer, this is a dream scenario. You don't have to do anything. The action comes to you, and all that's left is your finger on the shutter. Up to this point in the game, I wasn't incredibly happy with how my shots were looking. I wasn't hitting super sharp focus on a lot of them. The action shots were getting blurry, and I needed something that was going to switch it around, change my mood, and make me more excited. And then the Jayhawks came marching down the field. And they were running plays, or getting close to the end zone. And I wanted to position myself in a position where I hoped that we would run the ball towards the open side of the field, which they were on the right hash mark. I wanted them to come to the left side. So I got on the left side of the end zone, waiting for them to come on over. My right eye through the viewfinder got as wide as it could possibly be. I mean, I was a kid in a candy store as JD6 came barreling at me. His eyes looked right down the barrel of the lens, which is one of the coolest things to experience as a sports photographer. I mean, it completely breaks that fourth wall that usually separates a photographer from their environment, and it truly creates an immersive photo. My favorites from this set are these 4 shots. 3 of him looking at the camera as he gets deeper into the end zone, and then the 4th one of my favorite photos I've ever taken, was where he got so close to me that I was able to capture all the tiny details on the front of his jersey, as well as his number 6 gold chain flying out from the pads. I mean, the texture and the detail is just off the charts. It is so cool. So this photo my friend John took of me, this was my reaction after the play had happened, and obviously I'm elated, I'm on cloud 9. It was one of the coolest moments I've ever experienced as a photographer. Right before the play I was like, John, something good's gonna happen here, we gotta be ready for it. I didn't think it was gonna be that good. I mean, it was just perfect, everything about it was perfect. It's one of those moments where it reminds me why I love what I do, why I wanna be a sports photographer. It was just awesome.
So, by now you've probably heard that this Saturday, ESPN's College Game Day is coming to Lawrence for the KU versus TCU football game. But what's the big hype about College Game Day? Who are these guys that sit at this big desk talking about college football? I'm Claire Decatur here to give you a little history lesson on ESPN's College Game Day. College Game Day is a pre-game show broadcasted on Saturday mornings in the tailgating atmosphere before big college football games. The original crew was Tim Brando as the host and Lee Corso and Bino Cook as commentators. Carrie Ross later joined, being the first female to join the broadcast. The show first aired November 13th, 1993 at the Notre Dame versus FSU football game in South Bend, Indiana. This might be the crew's first time to Lawrence, but it's their second time at a KU football game. In 2007, KU took on a border rival, the Missouri Tigers, at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. This was a record-breaking game for Arrowhead, with there being a near record of over 80,000 people in the crowd, which is the second most in stadium history. The two teams entered the game ranked in the top 5, with Kansas at 2 and Missouri at 3. It was a close game, but sadly the Tigers came out winning 36-28. College Game Day has pre-showed college football at a ton of hot locations like Ohio, Alabama, and Florida. So what are they doing in a small town like Lawrence, Kansas? Well, I'll tell you why. The Kansas Jayhawk football team, that's right, football team, is undefeated right now, ranked 19 according to AP polls. These wins include on-road games and beating multiple Big 12 games, which hasn't happened in years. Quarterback Jalen Daniels is on Heisman watch, so yeah, let's just say there's no surprise that College Game Day wants to roll KU. This Saturday's matchup against TCU starts at 11 a.m., but the crew will be here this Saturday at David Booth Memorial Stadium at 9 a.m. to break down the game. So rally your friends, make big obnoxious KU signs, and start camping at 4 a.m. for tomorrow's monumental day. That's all we have in time for the classroom today. Now to Lily to close us out.
Well, Playmakers, that's all we have for this special edition show this week, but you already know the drill. The booth is sold out once again, so let's pack that stadium with that energetic and same feeling that we've had for the past few games. And you already know that you can check in to Playmakers Instagram tomorrow at PlaymakersKU to find Lily and I to give you live coverage of the game. And remember, Playmakers, it's not about the game you played, but the plays you made. Rock chalk, and see you guys next time.